Hello there and welcome to this vlog of March 2023. A day that I think will live long in the memory of BattleTech fans everywhere. Today has been the first day of the Kickstarter. It basically dropped about 3 hours ago. It's 6 p.m. UK time and it dropped 3 p.m. UK time, so we're 3 hours in. What I want to discuss here is just give a really quick video on the quite incredible things that have happened over the last few hours. I'm going to record several videos tonight though, so I really want to kind of get into the tier system and the force packs and things like that in a separate video. But for now, I just want to do a really short what has just happened type video, because I think we're all just running to catch up with this. So as I said, the Kickstarter has been running for 3 hours. Last time I checked, so maybe 10 minutes ago before I set all the recording stuff up, it was sat at about 2.2, approximately, I think just under, about $2.2 million, which is quite incredible. I'm not too surprised. I thought this Kickstarter would do incredibly well, and I went on record, in a previous video saying that I thought it would do, I think, 3.1 million. It's now going to blow that out of the water, absolutely. Just so you can just hear some key metrics on this, some financial metrics that I've been looking at this afternoon, because I've been working from home today, but the Kickstarter's kind of been on my other screen here, and I've just been glancing over every so often and just see it. Every time I look over, there's an extra 50k being dropped in, so it's quite incredible. It's not just the amount that you should be looking at though, it's the average spend by the backer. So at the moment, or the last time I checked, which again this was 30 minutes ago, so things may have changed, it was about $280 a backer, which is insane. I mean, I predicted it would be I think $150 to $200 per backer. That's a big metric, that really is a big metric, and Catalyst hopefully it should be looking at that figure very, very closely, because that shows the kind of commitment level across the fan base, much more so actually than the amount of money you make. I think that figure, that average spend figure, is really quite important. Again, we're in day one here, so I mean, they've absolutely blown the everything out of the water. Just to put this into context, so all the stretch goals on the Kickstarter, the maximum, the very last goal was $2 million. I think in the last Kickstarter, I think it took them 30 days to reach $2 million. We've done that in 3 hours. All the stretch goals are met. I mean, I don't know what Catalyst are thinking now. They must be do we just put more stretch goals in? We're just going to have so much money. What do we do? Obviously, it's not that simple, because obviously then they've got to use this money, this capital, to kind of make the product. So, but still, they'll still do incredibly well out of this. I mean, I'm sure that they were. I mean, I'm not saying that they sat around, Adepticon in tears, crying and getting all emotional, but there might be a little bit of that going on, because, I mean, the first day of the last Kickstarter, I think it made over $400,000, if I'm remembering correctly. We're 3 hours in, we're at 2.2 million. I mean, it is plausible that we'll hit over 2.5 million today. I mean, I'm saying that's me being conservative, and I am, I really am quite conservative with finances, because I work in that kind of sector, so it's never a good idea to over egg your figures. So I mean, I always thought my prediction of 3.1 million was slightly conservative, and I probably, in the back of my mind, I always thought they'd do more than that, but I didn't really want to go on record as saying that publicly, because 3.1 was still really healthy. It was still 700,000 more than the last Kickstarter, so I think they would have taken that as a big win, but they're going to absolutely eclipse that. I can tell you right now they will eclipse it, because you can see the data from the last Kickstarter. The 2 big days of spend were the first day and the last day. It's kind of like a valley curve if you're looking at it on a graph. So you start your first day, you obviously take a lot of money in, and then it goes down, 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 and then the last few days will pick up a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying it will be that much, but if you're looking at it that's a good model for what happens, then if we make 2.5 million today, they might make 2 million on the last day. And then there's the whole stretch in between where they might be making like $80,000 to $120,000 a day. So it's very, very plausible. I think that this Kickstarter will get up to about $5.56 million, something around there. I mean, to say that Catalyst will be delighted is a monumental understatement. I mean, you can tell that by the stretch goal figures that they put in. I honestly think, if you'd have said to any of them, you can take $3.5 million now, they would have taken your hand off for that. And, an extra $1 million on what is essentially a smaller Kickstarter than the last one. So just unprecedented. I mean, congratulations to all those guys, first of all. They've done, it's just on the design and stuff like that. And I mean, they're such a small company and, they're just absolutely bossing every facet of this. And I do look at it like, I still kind of question a lot of their like marketing tactics and things like that. Not that they're bad, it's just that it's, for me, I look at it and think this could be a lot tighter. So even just like running it between a few people who were just like, managing this system, they're still doing exceptionally well. And it's just incredible. I mean, I was just sat today like, I don't know, like a smiling idiot just watching this screen, this money just like go up and up. What really brought it home to me though, this was the thing that just hit hard in regards like what is happening here. The top tier buy-in for this Kickstarter was $5,000. Now, if you do that, you get like a series of like special, I don't know, like awards. Well, not awards, but you get a lot of like extra fluffy things, and like you get loads of box sets and things like that. You also get to go to, is it Kerensky Con, which is the really like small invitation only convention that Catalyst run where they show off new products, things like that. They had 20 of those available. So much like the last in the last Kickstarter, they ran the full Kerensky. This one I think is called the full Kappa. Both $9,000. You both get like similar kind of like buy-ins for what you're paying for at that level. They sold all 20 in about 30 minutes, and people were still really wanting to buy in at that level who had kind of come to the party a little bit late. So they put another 20 up, and the last time I checked, they'd sold 18 of them. Right? And it could be, it could be 20 now. I've just not checked in the last 15, 20 minutes. But it could be that tomorrow they put another 20 up and they sell them as well. It's just, that to me shows, I think, I'm just going off memory here, but I think in the last Kickstarter they sold 18 of those in total across the entire month. It just shows the level of buying that they've got. And that, not I didn't go in at the at that full Kappa level because I'm really not interested in the kind of, if someone said to me, there's a ticket to Seattle, go to Kerensky Con, obviously I'd love to do that, but it's much more difficult when you obviously live in Europe because I'd have to, take, a week off work and stuff like that, so I'm not particularly keen to commit myself to something like that in my kind of job, but today I've just gone in at multiple regimental buy-ins, which is the kind of standard thing to do for your more addicted player like I am. But if you're really kind of, even if you're close to the guys at Catalyst Game Labs, or you're involved in BattleTech on a really intrinsic level, I think what you'll find maybe a few people will go in at the $5,000 levels between a few of them, and then they'll split out all the kind of models and things that they get, because one of them wants to go to Kerensky Con to kind of, I don't know, how it is in today's media, people have YouTube channels and things of that nature, so it's just that to me shows the level of commitment and the buzz around BattleTech more than anything, more than the people who are just going in at multiple level buy-ins. That top tier is quite an interesting one, actually. I think they can probably ascertain quite a lot of data about their fan base by just analysing who's purchasing that level, because a $5,000 buy-in is pretty extensive. That's not, especially in like this economic climate, $5,000 is a fair whack of dollar. So it's just incredible to see. I mean, I can't sit here spurning out more adjectives really, because it's been a fantastic day. Obviously, the after everything that's gone on with BattleTech over the last 10, 15 years, the fact that it nearly died. And here we are, we're rocking in millions of dollars in a matter of hours. Complete resurgence in like all the video games. Just yeah, I mean, it can no longer be ignored. Basically, I think it's the post like breakdown of what this Kickstarter has done will echo throughout the industry. I mean, people will look at this now very, very differently. I would imagine as well you'll start to see off the back of this. I mean, Catalyst's morale must now just be through the roof. I mean, they've got every right now to really expand the business. I mean, off the back of this, there's no reason at all they can't start hiring whether it's like full-time artists or full-time marketing people. So I expect to see like a significant improvement in service, more things on retail shelves. I mean, yeah, it's just fantastic news. I mean, obviously, if this had have happened and it had nose dive bombed, whatever, which I never thought would happen, it's obviously a very different conversation. But to meet every stretch goal in 3 hours is just insane. I mean, that's some top tier work. I mean, the community as well need a lot of kudos for that, because I think BattleTech has been through a bit of a funny 6 months as well, with certain controversies and things going on, and I think today it's just buried all that weirdness and negativity that's been circling around, because quite frankly that part of the community don't have a leg to stand on anymore. I mean, good luck in your future endeavours. Don't bother us anymore, because we've got our hobby to engage with basically. And today has proven that more than anything, that there's nothing going to stop BattleTech now. It's going to be a major force, I think, over the next several years in this hobby space. So yeah, just well done to Catalyst, well done to everyone who backed the Kickstarter. There's still a long road to go. Obviously, I think they did say on the Kickstarter that they expect deliveries to come through June 2024, which to me's a little bit later than I expected. I thought we'd be kind of getting them around January and February next year. Not the end of the world. I mean, you're talking, what's that? 12, 14 months or something like that. But who knows? I mean, I think that's the prediction they put out there, and I mean, I don't think there's any chance we'll get it sooner than that now that they've said June. I mean, why would they? But I just hope that there are no hiccups and delays in that process. I think that would be bad form. I think previously, I know on the last Kickstarter, they obviously had that late backer level where people could opt in September, October 2020. Don't mind at all if they do that again, obviously, just to kind of top things up and get more interest, across people who've maybe missed out on this one for whatever reason. But I'd still say that I think they really kind of have to commit to that June. 14 months is a long enough period of time for them to kind of get everything made in China and then shipped over to the rest of the world. Some real positives today that I saw as well, though, because that's one little, not a negative, because I'm not bothered about that. I mean, I always expect for Kickstarter you're going to be looking at 12 plus months. But one great thing is the shipping. I did note on there that they're only expecting people to pay local shipping. So I'm guessing that'll be $20, $30 per shipment, which is fantastic. I mean, obviously, we could have had a situation where you'd be charged $150 for shipping, but they've kind of settled the costs on that one by the looks of it. Another thing to say as well is Catalyst do have a very, very good record with that. I remember during the last Kickstarter, they had I can't remember what it was. There was some incident where, because it was something to do with COVID and shipping, and the shipping had all been let down and was just stuck on a dock somewhere. So I think they got everything flown in, which cost them something. I think I remember one of them saying it cost them $100,000 or something insane, and they just took the loss on it just to kind of, to get what they needed done. So I have a lot of trust in Catalyst. The one, I suppose, existential fear that I have is the situation with China. If that goes sideways, and I mean, God willing, it doesn't happen, because I mean, there's obviously a lot more to worry about than a Kickstarter if that does happen. But at what juncture then if Catalyst bought everything at the end with a Chinese factory, and then there are sanctions put in place, and Catalyst can't get their money back to give to us, that could be very, very painful and could be pretty devastating to everyone concerned. I still say, and we were talking about this on Jump Point recently, I would much, much prefer that they did everything in the US, and I would quite happily pay significantly more money for it. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I think the days of like the globalized world where, China will do everything for cheap and do it quite well, like with this, like with all the plastics that we're getting here, I think those days are well and truly over. I think the days of that like 90s globalization are finished, and companies really need to like think about their positioning on this, because it can be catastrophic if it goes wrong. Like I said, God willing, fingers crossed, it all goes through okay, but there is always that risk in the world as it is at the moment. Anyway, I didn't want to leave it on a sour note, but yeah, something to think about anyway, and to look out for in the news. But all in all, I mean, yeah, just to go back on point, what a day, what a phenomenal day. Just so happy for everyone concerned, and I've got some analysis to do now on like what the force packs look like that we get in, and discuss some other factors in terms of the like the tier lists and what kind of bang for your buck you can get and things like that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching then, and I'll hopefully catch you again in a few minutes.